Welcome to Brain Soup, where we use our thinking noodles, bring you the latest and greatest soup of news and random facts, and stir-fry your brain. I'm Fernando.
I'm Cal.
I'm Ryan.
All right. And so what do we have today? What are you going to talk about?
What's the list?
Well, I guess like to begin, it is Men's Health Month. So, we can definitely talk a little bit about that, the intricacies, why it started, and where we're at currently, and, go from there. So, I'll start. So basically in 2003, there was a group of people that got together at a bar, actually. And they discussed how mustaches were kind of going out of style, and to bring them back, basically they can, use this kind of marketing almost, where they can get people to grow their mustaches out in a way that basically creates more awareness around that. From there, they kind of actually started a business around it where they could raise money to donate to charities and things like that support research in cancer and other things that are associated with that, as far as men go. So it's something that, I have a mustache right now. I don't usually have a mustache. In solidarity with that movement, and we are, we're
bringing it back.
Yeah, bringing it back, and I urge everybody to grow out a mustache, to be able to kind of show support for this cause. But additionally, at the end of the day, the whole point of this is to raise and to be able to be cognizant about the fact that sometimes men's health, we hold back facts, hold back information from our healthcare providers, things like that make things a little awkward. And it's to be more open and transparent with physicians and whoever else to be able to describe these things, well, at the end of the day, and to be able to really make sure that you're being treated accordingly, and additionally to fund the research in these areas that are still, underfunded. So at the end of the day, that's one thing I definitely want to touch on, because I think it's a big deal. At the end of the day, it's being more of a person who understands your own health and can make sure that you're getting the right treatment. There's so many people who just die, unalived, as they say now, just because they're not being proactive with their health. So it's definitely something we want to help combat, and we're fully supportive of during this month of November. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I think.
What about the other 11 months?
So the other 11 months, we raise primarily during November for Movember. But yeah, during the other months, obviously, it's about making it so that people at any point can go and talk with their physician about these issues.
Is there a reason y'all chose the least liked stooge as the name of Movember?
The what?
One of the Three Stooges.
Oh.
No, it's just the play on words. Mustache, November. That's the whole. I think that's the whole fun. Yeah.
I mean, a Ringo Starr version.
I don't think he had a mustache though. He was pretty clean. I think they're all pretty clean shaven. Larry, Mo, and what was the other guy?
Curly.
Yeah, Curly. A great show.
Now that I think about it, you kind of look like Freddie Mercury.
Thanks, man. I take it a compliment. Yeah, I like Freddie Mercury. He's a legend.
Yeah. I just gotta sing Bohemian Rhapsody.
I will. For enough shares or likes.
For now. There we
great.
go.
Acapella.
I will go on camera and do it a cappella right now.
Acapella.
Yeah. I don't.
So what's the number? What's the number then? How many shares or likes? We gotta have you do.
Oh,
this is
10 likes.
I'd almost pay for this.
10 likes.
We gotta start.
I'd say at least 10,000.
10,000?
Yeah.
Does that include Reddit?
That includes anything.
Does that include Reddit?
If I see we get up to 10,000.
So if this happens, end up on a Reddit sub somewhere, and we get 10,000.
I will literally sing Bohemian Rhapsody a cappella. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, it'll be crazy. I think 50,000 shares. I think that's what I'm gonna base it off. KPIs, shares. It's better. More people, more engagement, more love. It's good.
We're putting this on Reddit, bro.
Please don't. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever, man. Whatever makes it happen, I guess. But yeah, at the end of the day, these are things that I think we're all men here, right? So at the end of the day, we just have to watch out for our brothers.
Yeah. Well, you bring a good point up. Having conversation about topics that are often a little hard to to poke.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely even tough to talk about right now. I mean, it's something that's like, it's the month for this, right? We have to make sure that we're talking about it and spreading awareness. But yeah, as far as technology goes, like being integrated in that, like obviously there's a web platform where you can donate and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, there's so much more we can do, I think, with technology and being able to allow people to kind of see the progress of potentially like where are the donations actually. At the end of the day, when you're looking at the donating to something, like what if there's a way to actually like segment your donations to being like, all right, this much here, this much here, this much here, because like maybe you're more interested in prostate cancer. Maybe you're interested in testicular cancer. It's even tough to say here, right? Like at the end of the day, that's something that it's a weird thing to talk about. But there's so many other cancers, like breast cancer, that we're very openly talking about, right? It's a big deal. But at the end of the day, it does end up having a weird connotation, right?
Why don't we just look into actually making this kind of like app? Hold on.
So
Hear me out.
It's
a donation. No, it's a donation platform app where you tag the industries that you want your donations to go to.
That's actually really cool.
Right? So you're like, I'm going to put $100 in, but I want 60% to be tagged to men's health or to, like anything, and you could be like, I want this to be for cancer awareness. I want 5% to be for this, 50%,
No, that's really cool.
Like
that's
stocks,
really
but
cool.
But the 100% would be to remember the name.
And also, that's a good one. But also, like, even whenever you're looking at that, I mean, to be able to track it for taxes, whatever else, and have it in one platform, like to where you donated, what you did, like, and to be able to have a dashboard.
But you could say what it is, right? And like as the company,
Yeah.
right? The company would be like, oh, these are the different groups that we do things to with the different tags,
Yeah.
right? And so you could have hierarchy genre tabs, you could have subgenre tags, so you could be like, I want cancer, or you could be like, I want specific breast cancer or testicular cancer.
You don't even say it often enough to know how to say it.
Bro, it's not healthy.
It's not. It really isn't.
But
yeah, I mean, there's just.
I think that's actually kind of neat. Hold on.
Yeah, I think that's kind of crazy, actually. It's surprising that that's not available. I mean, at the end of the day, you can actually manage every single tax write-off. I mean, like, it's a tax write-off at the end of the day to donate to these things, right? So, like, why wouldn't you want to have a portal where you could just log in and see what you've done over the year? I mean,
and know exactly where it went to, kind of,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see what
Exactly.
You could
other
even claim a
to.
specific company. You could tag it to a specific company. You could tag it to a genre, subgenre, to something,
Yeah.
It wouldn't have to just be like, just St. Jude's or just, the lady who sings about dogs.
Yeah, you're not sitting here tied to one thing, right? You can be tied to multiple things. Even my fraternity, right? When I was in college at fraternity, Tau Cap S1, let's go. Back when I was in college, right, we had St. Jude's as our main thing we gave to, right? But in day, what if we could have spread that out to a ton of different causes and actually been able to see what we're impacting?
Completely unknown to my side.
Mhm.
Does St. Jude's have different branches, or is just St. Jude's like St.
Children's.
Jude's, or is but are there different ways you can donate to different departments or different groups or different funds inside of St. Jude's, or is it just St.
It's
Jude's
just
as a
St. Jude's,
whole?
yeah,
And
right?
then- is it?
I mean,
Is
in
it
my
though?
knowledge, yeah.
Who knows?
That's something that we could make more transparent.
You could, what if there was something specific, like something that was more important to you to do with a child, and everything's important, but there might be something that is a little bit more important to a specific person because of the things that they went through, and then they could pick that specific, more directional.
Even extending it further, it would be cool to kind of see, be able to see further into the pipeline of how your contribution, where that impact is going. What are the results, or what research is it helping?
Exactly, and they could kind of funnel that information as what are we working on now?
I mean, I would look at this
because
right?
usually, you donate and that's it.
You don't see anything.
So that brings up a fact, right?
And there's no there's very little transparency.
So would people donate more if they felt like they knew where their money was going?
Maybe they would donate more to the right things, or maybe not the right things.
What they
is
felt
the right
was
word, but
What they felt was right.
what aligned with their values.
I also got to think from the push notification perspective, the auto pay perspective, all these other things.
Okay, Mr. Capitalist, we're trying to save the world, and you're trying to make money.
I'm literally talking about whenever you're donating, you can literally be on a plan that you're able to donate monthly.
I agree.
This. You can set up your card. You can
you can
add value.
And what a lot of stores or markets do is, oh, hey, do you want to round up to, there's an app that's, I think it's called Digit. They may have changed the name, but
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, they save, they take a few cents out of like your purchases every transaction or every other transaction to it's like a mini savings account.
Yeah.
And like through time, you just, it's taking little bits and, it can add up.
It adds up quick,
and then you have
yeah.
a little savings for like this, for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of mechanism could be a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Where they ask you, like the platform is, you can ask you, oh, would you like to,
I mean,
simple, right? Simple version. You find 10 variations of different kind of like nonprofits, right? And then, or find 12. Every month you have a special that's like, oh, this month is our, whatever the company is called, this is the one that we support. And so when people donate, they can either choose to donate X% to things they want or X% to what the company is advertising on their site. So like, if it's St. Jude's that month, St. Jude's going to be all over the website, being promoted as like their, not partner, but like the one that they want to sponsor and help this month for anything that comes in. And then you have other people that are able to be like, no, like I like that, it's cool for you, but like I want to do this over here.
Mm-hmm.
And everything would be in front of everything, right? And then as the company would build up more and more relationships, you would be able to expand your network of places that you could do, and that could be like every month. Some companies might only get $100, but for a really small like Meals on Wheels in a small town or something, I guess $100 isn't a ton, but $100 is like better. And would they have gotten that from someone out of New York? Like someone out of New York could fund Meals on Wheels in rural towns, right? And now they're helping take New York money and spreading it across America to other pieces that don't have that kind of value.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like those dollars extend 10 times as much or something. Not 10.
The way you're describing it,
but
the way you're describing it almost sounds like a Patreon for, like like good cause projects or
projects that you're
like
impacting.
subscription-based philanthropy.
I like the I think that's cool. It's a lot of work.
Micro philanthropy.
Cool.
I like that.
But that's kind of like the whole Kickstarter kind of like side. I think just a simple I want to donate to so-and-so, and then you basically have an administration office that literally just makes sure money gets wired to the right accounts every month. And then at the end of the month, on the 20th of the following month, you put out a statement onto your website to say what all y'all donated to the different causes, so everybody knows exactly how much you all gave out.
You said what center?
Like an administration group, right? Like really like the main thing the company would have to do.
With a properly built platform, you could even like automate a lot of this.
You could, but like that's like saying like Fiverr's fully automated or like Uber's fully automated or like companies like that, right? Like I just meant this is very something simple. Like it's almost exactly like what we do today in the manual world where like you send me a check, I put a check into the account, someone sits there and pushes some papers, and then make sure at the end of the month I write a new check for X amount to this whatever company for donations. And all I'm saying is you just take that manual world, you turn it into digital, and you just basically say like, you tell me where to do it. My account's already say at the end of the 20th of the next month, I'm going to wire this money to this account no matter what, if it's $20 or if it's 10 or whatever your minimum requirement is, right? And then just have a little post. This is how much we gave out last month. That's what we gave it to. Treat it just like an oil well.
Yeah, well, all of you product managers out there and dev teams, we just gave you some gold.
There you go, man. Take like a 5% off the top, and then you can have sponsorships. That's where it's at.
Yeah, I see a lot of ways you can make this happen really quickly.
Really simple too. Because at the beginning, you don't even need to have that. You don't even need the direct deposit.
Yeah.
You could write checks. So you could do this almost by hand, except for the collecting the money on the payment process.
But at the end of the day, it's funding these, nonprofit stuff like that. So like at the end,
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
like,
it's
they would
because
probably come and help.
Philanthropy is seen as one of those areas usually reserved for like higher net worth individuals.
Yeah.
But this idea of micro philanthropy.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. And knowing where it goes.
Knowing where it goes, having transparency, and being able to give little amounts.
Like imagine having
like
an email sent to you.
Little amounts can grow like over time.
Imagine having emails sent to you that you impacted this person's life or you impacted this thing, right?
My wish for you.
Actually, there's well. now that we're talking about this, it reminded me of a platform that I did actually join. It's called Evertreen, and what they do is you can get a subscription, or you can say how much you want to donate each month, or you can do a one-off, and they'll plant trees
Oh yeah,
on your
I
behalf
remember that.
in different parts of the world.
That's so cool.
And so I was doing like a monthly subscription, planting a certain amount of trees in different places, and then they have like metrics. Oh well, your trees are here and here and this and that. So you can see like the progression of that impact, which is kind of cool.
That,
yeah. And as a company, you can also like put your name down and like get a little certificate and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, like you can actually count how many trees your company planted.
What if we did a Kickstarter to put trees on your plot of land in Decentraland?
Kickstarter? Why would we need a Kickstarter to put trees in Decentraland?
You can't afford to have an artist draw these trees out and someone to program it. So, like, what if Decentraland needs more
literally
trees?
against the whole point of planting trees? You're just doing more energy consumption.
Well, you can't just you can't just develop anywhere in Decentraland.
But you own a plot of land.
Yeah, I own a tiny little parcel.
Yeah, and how many trees can we put on that?
Like 2.
Bro, what do you...
It's a small parcel. Yeah,
he's like a little parcel of land.
like,
2 trees?
well, okay, I may be exaggerating, but okay, maybe like 4.5 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean a few trees. But, I mean, what is that gonna do?
You could turn into a shrine.
Well, it
Sell for
will
twice as
improve.
much.
It will improve the natural environment in the metaverse.
Think about the carbon.
Breathing quality.
Think about the
Yeah,
carbon to be
you
taken
know,
out of
we
the
need that
Decentraland.
eventually,
The carbon credits.
I planted these trees.
Decentraland carbon credits. You ever thought about that?
I'm net zero. I
have
have
not.
4 trees in Decentraland.
Huh?
I'm net zero. I have 4 trees in Decentraland.
So I think that makes you actually spend more carbon.
think
I
that-
know.
Just-
You're literally using more energy to build these trees.
yeah. Yeah. Using the blockchain to boost. Yeah. No, I think the micro philanthropy was probably a better idea than your.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It was a nice-
I think mine was a very good stereotypical crypto rug pull.
Very much so. Very much so. Right out the rug pull. Yeah.
Like, I was like, check out this rug, dope trees, check them out. And they're like, sounds cool, we're going to save the environment. And I'm like, huh? Just kidding.
like
These trees all
NFT
go to
for
me.
different types of trees.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
You started.
But we'll make you have to make sure the trees are interoperable, though. Like, you need to make sure if you go from Decentraland to
interoperable. I just heard
or
interoperable.
So, like, you got to make sure that no matter what verse you're taking it to, that you can take that tree with you.
Yeah, well, there are several companies that are they're dedicating their companies precisely to the interoperability of metaverse and virtual spaces.
I mean,
like creating avatars that are interoperable and et cetera, et cetera. That's a business. That's a business area for sure. Because that's a big challenge, in terms of like the metaverse and virtual worlds. There's an infinite possibility of types of platforms. We think of it as like fully decentralized, but there will be more centralized, less centralized. It's going to be a whole ecosystem, all writing their own code and making their own assets, and so yeah.
But going back to the
big challenge.
trees.
Oh gosh.
To return.
To go back to the trees, right? Imagine, just like the TV show Caprica, right?
Lorax?
We could invent
Never watched.
the ability to make completely unique trees as NFTs, right? And then when you build a plot of land on a metaverse, you could have your
When
specific
you build a
unique
plot
tree.
of land on a metaverse, now you're just
when
talking
building
buzzwords because that made no
when
sense.
you're building on a plot of land,
Okay.
when you're building on a plot of land in a verse, right? You could have your specific tree with, the 2,272 leaves, 2 of them brown, 6 of them red, beginning of fall,
that's a lot
while
of
like
scenes.
you might have the barren one, winter's time, winter's coming, Jon Snow tree, you know what I'm saying? And then he's got the really flourish, cherry blossom.
How many leaves?
Yours would have like 2,474.
Well,
And
we're thinking like
Ryan's-
way further down the line because
No,
most of these
it's-
metaverses are very like low res, like
But that's what makes yours
polygonal.
it's a tag, bro. It's literally a tag. It says bloop leaves X.
I'm talking about metadata.
Pretty simple, right? You want an oak tree with 6,000 leaves, 4 branches.
Bro.
6 sub-branches?
You're literally the Lorax right now. Like, all this tree talk.
What is
Save the trees.
What is the utility of these trees?
Trees. Bro, you could, no matter where
Yeah, well,
you
trees are not
went,
trees
no
in
matter
the
where
metaverse.
you went in any verse, you could go to the same tree and experience what you wanted to experience when you first got that tree.
But what is your experience with a?
Bro, what's your
with a
experience in
virtual
any? It's
tree?
an experience, bro. I don't know. You look at a tree and you're like, "Oh, cool tree." I don't know. I'm just answering questions.
What if we
Yeah,
created
but
a person who chops down trees?
I think our
to run through
appreciation
the
of-
metaverse and just chop everybody's trees down.
Huh?
We create a little, like, an antagonist who runs through the metaverse and just chops everybody's trees
Larry the
down.
lumberjack?
Yeah, or like
The Onceler.
Yes, what is it called?
The Onceler.
The Onceler.
Oh.
The Lorax? The Onceler.
Oh my god.
The tree capitator.
There we go, man.
This is our life.
Well, this brings us to another segment of Fernando's Book Corner. I don't know what we're calling it still, but
We
Sounds
Sounds
good.
whatever you want. Book corner.
Obviously, with our round table, there's a ton of corners.
good point. So I brought along
Book circle.
Book
Fernando's
circle.
radius.
Fernando's radius.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so today I brought along one of my all-time favorite books called Cosmos by one of my all-time favorite thinkers, Carl Sagan. Gosh, it's almost hard to explain this book because it's about so many things, but at the heart of it, I think why I love it so much is it's about it inspires wonder and curiosity about the world, about history. It mixes so many different topics in such genius ways. So yeah, I mean, there's, as you can see with all my tabs,
And the colors don't mean anything. They're irrelevant.
yeah, just to
It looks good. So
to mix them up a bit. And well, this is more of a paragraph than it is a sentence. But I think before I think we were talking about the. I forgot what the question was, but we were talking about ancient history and how I would love to go back to the time of ancient Greece and the Library of Alexandria.
Bethesda.
The what?
The bathhouse.
Oh, sure. Yeah, why not? So I found the paragraph because I talked about all this knowledge that was lost and how we have some idea of certain tomes and things that were lost. So yeah, I'll read from here. So the Alexandrian Library is where we humans first collected seriously and systematically the knowledge of the world. In addition to Eratosthenes, there was the astronomer Hipparchus, who mapped the constellations and estimated the brightness of the stars, Euclid, who brilliantly systemized geometry and told his king, struggling over a difficult mathematical problem, there is no royal road to geometry. Dionysius of Thrace, the man who defined the parts of speech and did for the study of language what Euclid did for geometry. Herophilus, the physiologist who firmly established that the brain, rather than the heart, is the seat of intelligence. Heron of Alexandria, inventor of gear trains and steam engines, and the author of Automata, the first book on robots. Apollonius of Perga, the mathematician who demonstrated the forms of the conic sections, ellipse, parabola, hyperbola, the curves as we now know, followed in their orbits by the planets, etc., etc. Archimedes, and so many others. So I could, this is quite a large bit, but that kind of just gives you a little glimpse into some of the amazing things that they were writing about, they were discovering, talking about. Another one was mentioned, Democritus, who basically
Communism.
No, the atom.
yeah.
Close. Almost there.
That was Democritus. It's had to be communism.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I get it now. Great.
Very good. Some good stuff. So I guess one of my questions around that.
I mean, to your favor, democracy, the Greeks were, one of the early pioneers in democracy. So, point for Cal.
Big point.
What was your
Sorry,
statement?
what?
Basically you mentioned the book on what was it called? Automation.
Automata?
Automata.
Gosh, where was it again? Yeah.
That's kind of cool. So there's a book on robotics prior to even
and
anybody knowing of.
Well, keep it. I mean, it's probably gear trains, steam engines, so mechanical motion, but still automata. You can get.
I mean, this is
in a system of gears and steam and energy. You can create machines that obviously you need to have an input of energy or whatever, but they can. Have mechanisms that essentially are automated.
What did they use? Like, because we started with coal, right? Like, what were they using? Coal or?
Well, he literally has just said steam.
Yes.
Steam gets powered. How do you get steam?
We heat up water.
So you think heating up water?
There's a difference between coal powered and steam powered. I mean, you might use coal to burn water to make steam, but like. Because you don't say that steam powered things are coal powered.
Am I off here? But I believed coal was part of this steam whole process, right? Like stuff like that, steam engines.
Yeah, for the modern steam engine. But I suppose if you can heat it, if you like using fire or other sources of energy, I'm sure.
So they were powering things with water. You think?
I mean,
steam.
well, they're. Well, you guys are on a similar page. But I'm trying to think of the name.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think of the name of the Greek. I want to say it's Thales of. No, I think is it Thales that he was the inventor of like the very first kind of steam engine. What's the name? Let me.
So they had steam powered things back in what year is this like?
1772.
No, it is not 1772. Get out of here.
This is around like the 500s BC kind of period. Again, you were close.
I mean, based off the history of the Earth, I was pretty close.
I guess so.
I mean, like 1%, like I'm way closer to that than I was to dinosaurs.
Let's see. I'm trying to.
You were very close.
It's called statistics.
Relativity, right? Yeah, no, it's cool.
Oh no, yeah, sorry. I think I was.
Can I guess?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay, so my guess. If I'm off, don't judge me. But I'm thinking like 1400.
Oh my god!
Shit. Wait.
Do you even know when like any of these people? Because I don't.
I mean, I'm guessing.
These people?
I'm guessing.
I'm joking. Look.
I'm guessing right now. So let me guess.
All I'm going to say, since we're talking about the library,
1480.
480 what?
1480.
80?
Yeah.
So is Jesus
No.
already walking?
When was
These guys were talking 500 BC.
That's crazy to me, man. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
BC. So, yeah.
So I was close then.
Well,
I was closer than him.
So yeah, but look how look how much time passed from that time, and that's why I'm always thinking about again the joke of like the Roman Empire. I'm thinking a lot about like the Greeks and all of that, and I mean if the library hadn't burned down, and I mean there's a whole bunch of other events that contributed, but the Dark Ages, like those thousands of years, were comparatively little progress. Where would we be at?
So I'm not going to ask.
Because I mean, we started getting the heliocentric theory in the, 1400s with like Copernicus, then Galileo proved it. Later Kepler with the laws of planetary motion, and then Newton expanding, like that. 1700s from like that Newton was from 1700s. So more than 1,000 years.
And he figured out. Oh gosh.
Who, Newton?
Newton. Wait, am I thinking of the right person? I'm sweating.
He's the dude with the apple, bruh.
Thank you, gravity. I was gonna say gravity, but I was making sure I wasn't on because I confused myself with 1400 AD, and now I'm like,
AD.
I'm the guy who studied Greece.
Oh, you
college.
studied Greece?
Yes.
Like the movie?
Yes, of course. Like it was the movie of. I mean, no, not the movie.
You didn't study the singing?
No, I was talking about the ancient sports public spectacle. This is what I studied. One of the subjects I studied in college for an elective, right? Obviously, And like they talked about like the Pantheon and all these other things, like
Oh, the
the
Parthenon.
Olympics they did, like the nude Olympics. They all were nude. And
You
yeah.
literally just watched that on a YouTube reel.
I did not. I actually
Absolutely
studied
did.
that
It
in
was
college.
it was
Yeah,
a brand new YouTube reel 2 weeks ago.
Last year
Don't
I
mind
was in
me.
Olympia, like in Greece, where they did the Olympics.
Yeah, and that's probably around the same time, and I'm kind of upset that I was like, so off. So
Oh yeah, the Greeks. Yeah, they were.
I should have known this.
I mean, dates
been many years.
are tough, but yeah, I mean, and for me, it's because like I think my favorite ancient history and mythology has always been the Greeks since I can remember.
Cool.
So much innovation, like you said, democracy and politics and art and theater and music. Yeah,
It was a pop and
numbers,
spot.
mathematicians, and like I read
Pottery.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they really had some
Pottery.
really nice pottery. No, they
Really
didn't.
nice, really
I mean,
nice. Yeah. Top of the line, like that's the kind of stuff, man. People
Question.
think about.
Unknowingly, I'm actually asking. Damascus steel, is that Greek or Roman?
Well, Damascus to me sounds like a
Greek,
name.
right?
Yeah, but
Don't look it up.
Sure.
That's what our viewers are for.
yeah.
So they're gonna flame me for not knowing. You don't need to look this up.
Well, that's the great thing about Brain Soup is we don't need to know everything.
We don't know
can,
everything, and that's why the comment section exists, so we can learn more.
Oh, I'm looking at books. No wonder.
All right. Did
All
either
right.
one of you all watch any kind of shows growing up besides the Magic School Bus to like learn about history or science or things that y'all remember?
Yeah, there's this one. What was that called? Remember the little gecko? There was a little gecko, and it would travel through the museum. Eyewitness. I think it was by Eyewitness.
Wishbone?
Not Wishbone, no. It's like with a little gecko, and he would guide you through a journey through history. Every single episode.
Oh, Middle East. Yeah.
Middle East is good.
Persia.
Persia, there we go. That's number one,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
There's been other massively, paradigm shifting discoveries.
The Aqueduct.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was huge.
Yeah, I mean, and scientific discoveries, Newton and his formulation of the laws of motion, and then Einstein, who basically came in with.
But do you think the laws of
Holland.
motion affected more people than AI is?
they affect-
Because
they
like
affect
laws of
everything.
no. But do you need to understand
yeah,
the laws of
yeah,
motion
yeah.
to live
I
your
understand.
life?
So it's more
right?
so action
So,
rather
like,
than thought, right?
Yeah, so like
Well,
the
it
laws
depends.
of motion existed before some guy
It
was
But were
like,
you able to
because-
talk to motion itself? We can talk
not except for the
to the
singular.
technology itself now. Like it guides us. It's a guiding force. In fact, I was gonna write a little stupid
little
thing on a
AI
paper
of
the other
mine.
day, and I was like, "Let me just type it in ChatGPT, and it'll give me what I need to write here, instead of me actually sitting here and thinking."
yeah.
And it's the stupidest thing ever. Like, and I use ChatGPT for it.
No,
Got too excited.
No, ChatGPT is
It's
wonderful. Like
crazy.
I've been using it. I've been using it several ways. Like of course, the menial stuff, like send an email or make a list.
But you're not
I'll-
you anymore.
Uh,
Now you're not you. You're AI.
Well, I mean, it's a tool that extends me, but backgrounds, design backgrounds. Normally, I would have to search for a stock photo in a library just to have a texture, or not a background, but like a texture. When you want to texture something, now you can generate your custom texture. It also has a creative writing coach. So I personally want to write my own creative work, like poems and stories, because that's my process. But I can get really good feedback as if I was talking to a writing coach, a teacher, like, oh, well, consider these points and, maybe work on character development or, show not tell, or if you're going for a fairy tale style, consider this. So it's
It
it opens up
for that learning, but it also could be used for complete execution of every.
Oh yeah,
single thing
absolutely.
you're
I mean,
on.
I could, yeah, you could use it to write a whole story. In my case, and many people will probably use it to write, I definitely for content like business content, or you want to push out a lot of social media stuff. I mean, sure. For me, like the creative writing that I do, like the poetry and story, I want to develop it.
Creative touch.
But
yeah.
it's still really useful, like to use AI to, brainstorm. It's like feeding back, brainstorming. With logos as well, I've used it to brainstorm logo ideas. I still do the vector work. I still create the logo, but it's like a good jumping off point.
But you could also like now. I mean, not to say that that's. I mean, it's noble. It's you're sticking to what you know.
Oh yeah, you can use it to.
But like, dude, I mean, I go on
develop it,
Mid-Journey
yeah.
and you can almost get like. Remember when it used to be like you type in now say this and then the letters would be kind of like weird.
Yeah.
Maybe different letters than what you said, whatever. Now it's getting closer and closer to that point
It is.
where it's like you
It
can
is.
actually have the logo plus that trademark or whatever, the
Yeah.
trademark on the name, whatever. Just from that, with mixed into the logo at the same point, right? And that's like
Yeah, you can create something full and
Yeah.
done completely. For my taste, certain nuances are still like, if you want something really specific to your taste and you have a vision, you have a creative idea,
you still need. To
it's
do
very hard. And sometimes like I've tried to iterate and like I just can't get it to do even something basic like
Yeah.
make the background fully like
Yeah.
completely white. Like it'll still have like color tint so there's still some things, but yeah, it'll get there.
Mhm. Yeah, give it a few months.
Yeah. So yeah, and I mean I have this conversation a lot about how it'll redefine artistry and creative work, the role of an artist. It's a lot of I mean it's definitely interesting. A lot of implications.
Mm-hmm.
I see there's two sides of the coin as always.
Oh yeah.
I'm both pessimistic and optimistic in different senses.
Okay.
I could talk forever about this, but so
Mhm.
I'll let you jump in.
We listened to your little segment about men's health. We listened to your
Oh
segment.
yeah.
About
Big
this.
boys.
This is going to go on to what we were just talking
It's
about. Hold on.
Wikipedia
So
time.
instead of like a fun fact today, it's going to be hot take. We can
Hot
cut
take.
this out if we need to and do a different one.
Yeah.
Irrelevant, but we can do this. Hot take. Do you think AI will change the world more than Christianity?
Ooh, that's a loaded one.
Do we need to go back? We can just do another one.
No, I think it's good.
You know what? I don't know. It's so.
All right, well, I won't say Christianity.
Well,
Religion, right?
well,
Just
yeah.
religion as a whole, right?
Well,
Like how
see,
that's
one
changed.
thing that I talk about a lot is, as we kind of, these fields like science and physics and psychology and things that kind of let us peer deeper into certain things and, understand the modern world, I guess, if you want to call it that, the modern world. I think, the understanding is great, the knowledge is great, but it seems to me that there's more and more of a disconnect with like a one connected narrative, like kind of like our place in society, in the world, and in the cosmos. For the longest time, and I'm going back to like ancient mythologies. The mythologies like gods. Like there was a god of lightning.
Yeah.
There was a god of war and forest and many different things.
Yeah, like everything.
I mean, it was very inaccurate. It was beautiful, but the narrative was so full of meaning and purpose, and people really felt like, they fully knew their place in or their relationship with the cosmos and society. I think now there's more and more of a disconnect, and unfortunately, a lot of these fields like science and physics and tech, business, whatever, they're very full of knowledge and information, but they're very lacking in the narrative department. And so, back to the topic of as humans, we're driven by narrative and story. It connects us. It was imperative and valuable. So, I guess back to the question, I think technology, AI and other technology advances us in many ways as a society and our capacity, but I think narrative is just as powerful or even more in terms of, as a society, how do we define our humanity, how do we define our relationship in the cosmos, and that I would say is even more impactful, because that also defines how we use the technology, not just not just what we can do with technology.
What about, this has hopefully not happened yet, what about the religion that's going to start in the next 5 to 10 years that is based on the church of AI? Right? Where they're going to utilize that as being the supreme being, is being the one with all the knowledge, being the one that does that, right? You have people, I believe it's like since like either October or November of like 2022, you have more people with cell phones than you do toothbrushes, which means more people probably have a cell phone than a Bible, right? So,
However, before you say that, I mean, you're talking about all religion or just Christianity?
I'm just all religions. I bet you there if
Hell no.
if the statement is more people have a cell phone than a toothbrush, I'm going to say the statement before that was more people had a toothbrush than a Bible or a religious.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. People could have nothing and they're still going to carry their Bible, Quran, whatever else with them. Like that's.
But how many people carry 2 Bibles or 2 Qurans or a Quran and a Bible? How many phones did you used to carry?
I used to have 2.
All right. You ever had 2 in your life?
2 what?
Cell phones.
Yeah.
You ever carried 2 different, like, Bibles on you?
I mean,
or not Bibles, but religious documentations?
Well, yeah.
Like
I mean,
that you follow?
I'm a bit of a different case. I'm not. Yeah.
But like, that's what I'm trying to say though. Is like more people,
know,
right? Like if you already have people, like you're gonna have people already that are like, wow, I can't even think of it right now. That like are Gnostic or atheist, you know, and stuff like that already exist that will not read that book, or if they do not believe it in any way, shape, or form, right? But all those same group of people are going to probably, majority of them are going to end up using AI moving forward. And then most people who exist in like the Western world or areas where like Christianity or Judaism or Muslim and stuff like that, like they're still going to have the same access to those things, right? But now they're going to have access to compare those to the different writings. Or now they're going to have the ability to read about other writings they never had the chance to read about. That's where I'm saying is now do you even need to have a Bible? You know, another hot take is, do you need to have a Bible if you can just ask the AI what John 3:16 says or what the Book of Mary talks about in, you know, like.
Yeah, but I think the thing is like changing the world wise, it'll never have the same impact as religion did.
Never.
I think it can assist. Like so, next, this question hopefully helps. So, like, let's say war. Is war caused by? Is it caused by AI or people fighting for AI?
Well, it's the rich who wage war and the poor who die.
Is the AI becomes sentient? Like, does AI cause wars or do we cause wars for it?
Depends. That would be.
Well, this is all. Yeah, I mean, this is all. It's very.
Do we make our
make
decisions in life today based off data?
Of course.
Do they probably determine where they're going to attack or who they're going to attack based off data?
Of course.
What's compiling our data now? What's reading it? And and then AI, most likely, or ML, or whatever you want to call this word today, is handing this off to a human to interpret.
I mean, yeah, but like that's right now.
Would they not already be controlling it?
Yeah, but no, but the thing we're missing is like we're talking about it becoming sentient. Where it doesn't need to be, it controls itself. It learns from itself. It does what it wants. Like, are people worthy?
I don't know. I think that's like the Skynet theory, right? But like,
I mean,
if you allow it to make those choices, right? If we allow it to make those choices, it will do those choices. So if you say just like a human, hey, I need 2 humans to flip this warhead switch and flip the same thing and turn the keys at the same time to launch the rocket, right? You'd put the same fail-safe into AI. So 2 AIs believe.
Yeah, but we also talked about, what was it, the failure. What was it, failure? When it's talking to each other too much and it basically starts to make decisions based on that. When, like, the theory where it's like 2 cars are coming to collision, which one moves? Like, that could happen, and then, you know, move.
Yeah.
Critical failure. Pop.
So like, if we allow it to make those decisions, then it will be allowed to make those
any
decisions.
amount of control.
So like you could literally say like you could make it do the same. Like we already kind of do that with certain things. Like we make the decision on like, do you like during storms, do they like Hurricane Harvey here in Houston, right? There was a decision made by the city to let water into a certain area over another, right? The human had to theoretically choose it. I assume there was data points everywhere for them to make these decisions on what was theoretically best for the areas at hand, right? But an AI gave them all that information. It was like they were like some kind of machine learning program that they wrote into this, right? It was not most likely not someone on a CSV.
But the reason why I asked that question is because that's what we did with religion. We waged wars. We did it because we were passionate about that. That was something.
Yeah, but now more people have access to this than ever before.
But like that changed the world.
Yeah, and like more people, like the only way to go learn about religion for the majority of our human lifetime was to go to a specific area, congregate with other people, and listen,
Sure.
right? Or to talk with them. Nowadays, we're at a different spot where theoretically, if you want to like superpose AI as a religion, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just sit at home, just like you could with Christianity today or Judaism or any other religion, right? But the difference is it's much newer and it's built for that technology, right? The older stuff is not, and so we can still have the same amount of people reading it. I just believe that because more people have access to this new thing, that would be the way that they're going to now ask, what does this verse mean?
Accessibility
What does
definitely is
this mean? Or
easier
whatever,
than
right?
ever, yeah.
And that's what I mean is like with the access to the average person being able to now utilize this as their information, their knowledge dump, their whatever.
Gateway,
That was at times what people use Sundays for. That's what they use their Bible studies for, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Or anything else.
And maybe I'm wrong, but like I feel like you now have basically a chance for someone to kind of read and do school at home, and because of that, whatever is inside that brain they're choosing to use, whether it's Chat GPT or if it's Bard, or what if Joel Osteen decides to make a Lakewood version of an LLM that has everything interpreted from a whatever, or what if Ken Ham decides he wants to make a Genesis version of an LLM that always interprets things from a Genesis point of view,
Yeah.
right? Or different groups
That's
going to
so
buy
true.
those.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to compare because it impacts us and society in different ways. I mean,
Such different ways.
religion, it was one of those forces that, allowed people to congregate en masse and, work towards a certain cause, kind of, the same as like a nation or whatever. And it defined cultures, it defined borders, it defined the intermingling of nations and the marriage between kings and royalty. It defined society in so many ways.
It came around a point where we were still building and setting these things too. Like
Yeah, it's still
So we're done
technology and AI.
It's hard to
in
build
this
now.
case. Yeah, it's going to impact us for sure. It's already impacting us, and down the line, it will potentially, it'll impact us in many different ways, and give us, so many new capacities. But also, I also wonder what kinds of narratives will form, will be needed to, for this kind of new globalized world that we're in.
Perfect. So I think let us know your thoughts in the comments below as well, so you guys can add some value. Let us know what you think. I mean, at the end of the day, this is definitely an open conversation, unbiased. And obviously it's something that does need to be discussed because what is going to happen?
On that note,
Yeah.
who wants to wrap it up?
Yeah, well, this has been another episode of Brain Soup. Stay using your thinking noodles, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.